Whether you monitor them or not, your high-value markets are in a constant conversation about your products and services, about your competition, and about your industry. What you need are tools that will help you monitor those conversations and gain insights into what your market is discussing. Basically, when you think about analytics on social, we're talking about the topics and the themes people are discussing to address the needs and wants and issues that are in their lives. They're talking about their passions. They're talking about trigger events and how they're going to solve them to move forward. They're also talking about companies. That can be your company or your competition and your products and services. They are also talking about specific people. Perhaps it's your CEO, your CMO, the head of engineering, but you can monitor what's being said about those people on social. And finally, they are talking about issues. Those are things that have come up recently that impact their industry. And so basically with social tools, we need to think about all of these different topics or themes that people could be discussing and use social monitoring tools to see what's being said and whether that conversation is positive or negative about each one. And so in terms of what do you want to analyze, there are basically 5 areas where you need some tools. First off, you need some tools that will analyze topics and discussions. In other words, what are people talking about and how are they talking about it? Next, you'll want to look at influencers. Influencers are the key people at the center of the community that are essentially putting out articles and videos and podcasts on different topics that are of interest to the community. So the community members are basically voting for them because they like what they're saying. The next thing we need to do is we need to look at search. How people are searching for topics is very, very important. And so with the search engines, what we want to do is to analyze how people are using those to find the topics and the companies and the other things that are of importance to our understanding of how they're working. Next, we want to look at keywords. And keywords are important because we need to put those into our websites. It's what people are framing up topics around. We need to use them in all of our posts that we put out, all of our tweets. We're going to use keywords. We can also put them into all of our videos and other areas so that people can find us through search more effectively. Finally, we want to look at hashtags. Hashtags are how communities talk to each other, and they're very important for sites like Twitter and also Instagram and others, where hashtags essentially allow people to connect up on key topics that are of interest to them. And so what we also need to think about is that the conversation is occurring all through the social pyramid, which means we not only have to be able to monitor what's being said in text, through articles and white papers and things like that, as well as posts that people are making, but we also need to understand that there is video and audio that is happening. So we need to have tools that will allow us to analyze what's happening in the video world and what's happening to podcasts, so we get a complete 360 view of how our markets are engaging using social tools. When you're analyzing social using the tools that I'll be giving you, there are 6 things you need to understand that will help you hone in on a conversation. Remember, we're listening in on native conversations happening in all sorts of languages by people who are unaware they're being monitored. And so they aren't going to talk using what is called the Queen's English as they do it. They're going to use phrases and slang and all sorts of things. So we need to kind of hone in. And these are the ways we can hone in on a conversation. First off, we have the exact phrase. So if I was looking and I said, give me the exact phrase digital marketing, when it is analyzing what they call documents, which are tweets and posts and blogs and so forth, it must say digital, then marketing, exactly in that order, right together, in order for it to pull the document for my analysis. And so digital, when you start going with the exact phrase, it has to be that exact phrase. So if you said, I love marketing, especially digital, it wouldn't pick that up because that's not the exact phrase. It will do it, though, with include terms. If I say, instead of, I leave the exact phrase blank and I put in include terms of digital and marketing, if a document has those 2 terms in it, that it will pull it. And some of the more advanced systems, you can actually say those 2 words must occur within 5 words or things like that to really hone it in. But with Include Terms, it's going to include any document that has those terms in it. The next one's Exclude Terms, and those are very important. For example, one company, the Oreo cookie manufacturer, wanted to do social monitoring. And what they found is a lot of kids had black and white gerbils and hamsters and dogs and cats, and they named them Oreo. So they had to go in and say, I want Oreo, but I want to exclude terms like dog, cat, rabbit, a gerbil, hamster, or whatever. They had to get rid of all those to get to the Oreo cookies. And so exclude terms are very, very useful as you're moving forward. You can also filter by languages. You can say, I only want to see any posts that are in Mandarin Chinese or in Indian or in English or so whatever. So you can actually hone it down that way. Most of the systems allow you to do date ranges. So I want to see all the social conversations from a certain range of dates, which gives you the ability to look at what's happening over time. And finally, you can do it for specific sites and domains. And so as you get into it, if you go and do a search on something, a term or whatever, and you see there's garbage in it, then think about Exclude Terms and think about getting more exact to get rid of the garbage, if you will, and get to the conversations you really want to analyze. That's the best way to use social. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at rlovick@msinetwork.com. And you can also do it through Northwestern, or also I'm on Twitter and LinkedIn, and happy to answer your questions there as well.